Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command, a new turn-based strategy game out by Fury Software and published by Matrix and Slytherin Games. In today's episode, we are going to be continuing our Let's Play as the Central Powers as we move into the fall of 1915. Our Central Powers campaign thus far is focused on the Eastern Front, staying mainly on the defensive and the Western Front as we sort of use the limited front line against the Western allies to our advantage, and we drive in deep into the Russian hinterland. We've had a lot of success on the Russian front. We've taken the key fortress at Brest-Litovsk, and we are driving on Minsk. We're also about to take the city of Vilnia, another key strategic location, and we're poised for a breakout in southern Russia as well. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire is holding its front line in the Caucasus. They're also managing to hold the British at bay in the Sinai, and the Italian front is stagnant as well, all while we continue driving east. So all told, things are going pretty well for us, and that's the situation. Now, we just ended our most recent turn. That's why you see the sort of mouse cursor at the moment in the loading symbol. And so we're going to jump right back in. This was taken from a live stream from a couple of days ago. So we're going to jump right back in as we move into the next turn's results, and we'll see how things play out in this episode. Hope you guys enjoy, and as always, leave your thoughts below. The loss of Brest-Litovsk reduces Russian morale. Also, keep in mind, the Russians have not yet had, they had some successful historical offensives later in the war. The Breslau offensive, they haven't had anything like that to buoy their spirits. Germany gets infantry weapons level 1. That should be very useful. Man, all this technological development coming out. An Austro-Hungarian seaplane tender? Yeah, or carrier. I guess we could do that, theoretically. I'm not going to. God damn it! They swung in behind us! Oh my fucking god. The French just declared war in the Netherlands? What the hell, Entente? The British public are shocked by the attack on the Netherlands. No fucking shit, they should be. The French protest the declaration of war on the Netherlands. Goddamn French. Looks like we're getting a naval battle at the head of the Adriatic. The French just wiped out that destroyer. Hey, Austro-Hungarian sub delayed the Italians coming out. I think the AI is just realizing, like, shit, this is the only way for us to have any success is for us to try and outflank him again. And the only way to outflank them is to attack the Netherlands, apparently. This is fucking nuts. Yeah, I'll probably pull the Austrian Navy back, to be honest. Now that we've identified French dreadnoughts in the area. Apparently the US doesn't care. The French and the British public aren't happy, though. I would hope that hurts their national morale or something. If not, go Germany, just be absolutely outraged, right? Like, I don't know if they would actually enter the war on the side of Germany, but they sure wouldn't ever consider joining the Entente at this point. The enemy has developed bombers, apparently. They just bombed one of our cities with Russian bombers. Good thing for us, we just developed infantry weapons level 1. That should give us a pretty big advantage in any infantry attacks. Meanwhile, the French artillery is pounding the hell out of Nancy. And there they go. They're outflanking us already. They have infantry weapon level 1. They completely This is so obnoxious. Do zones of control not matter for them? Hey, Big Terp. Marines attacking at Nancy? So the enemy also has infantry weapon level 1 now, apparently. Nancy will be retaken by the French. The key border fort of Maastricht, or however you pronounce that, is going to fall to the Allies. I mean, I don't think I'm going to have a British landing in the... My brain is twitching. I mean, to say that this is more than frustrating, like, it's gamey as hell. Okay, the Belgium one I get. They considered that in real life. But the idea of them going to war with the Dutch... Give me a fucking break. That's bullshit. And now that we don't have the food supplies through the Netherlands... Yeah, but Admiral, they saw Russia disintegrating historically and they didn't try this. I guess they didn't have a border with the Dutch, but... Ah, Ottoman intelligence detecting enemy units in the North Atlantic. I'm so glad I invested that money in those other things. All right. I'm speechless at this point. I don't even know. Ha! Suck it, French Cav. I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm going to have to rail cores back from these. There's no doubt about that. Okay. The problem is if I rail troops to the front line and the enemy attacks them the same turn, the troops get massacred. Yeah, maybe they'll go after Denmark next. That'd be so much fun. Let's see. What's Russian morale at now? 33%? Okay, so Vilnia will fall to us. That's good news. Alright, so Vilnia falls, Kovno's surrounded. Alright, I do need to pull some troops back. I'm worried if I pull troops off the Greek border, then they'll shift troops against me elsewhere. I mean, I think on the Italian front, we just have to dig in and pray. Actually, I have an idea. Maybe not a great idea, but it's an idea, so we'll see if it's possible. What if we... Oh, none of those guys are on rail lines, are they? Oh, they are. So what if we rail... Can they rail right up to the front line? They can. Wouldn't be a terribly smart idea. What's their effectiveness right off the train? Actually, the readiness and effectiveness isn't that bad. The problem is troops on the front line can't actually upgrade their weapons. So how the hell am I going to cycle my troops down? One to 5? Yes, please. Oh, we just destroyed a British corps. Eat shit, Britain. Wow, that was without any expense. We wiped that British corps out. And all they're doing is extending the front line, giving me more free units. I need to figure out which units I want to pull back. A lot of my German units aren't even on rail lines, so I guess these guys have to come because they're on the rail. Their readiness is 55%. That's so low. I'd like to pull 2 more units back. None of my German troops are actually on the rail lines, so I'm going to have to pull some Austrian troops back to the front, which is not exactly what I want to do. But I don't think I have much of a choice, because most of my German troops, again, they are not on railways. We could pull these troops out of Riga. They've been sitting there for a while. So I'm just trying to build up a critical mass of troops at the head of this front. I'm trying to minimize the number of units I actually have on the front line by putting some detachments as cannon fodder to the front. And I'm hoping that the zones of control rules will benefit me to some extent. I think we're going to pull these Marines back too. Just in case they break through somewhere else, because their artillery has proven incredibly effective. Meanwhile, we'll upgrade our artillery as we can. Move our blimps, new units. So glad we have a new light cruiser. That's going to make such a difference. But at least the artillery should be nice. Okay. Apparently these guys can't operate back because they're not on a railway back to Europe. Alright, we just drove those guys back. I don't want to take that position because it's a bad position to be in from a supply perspective. So just hold back. Counterattack where appropriate. Enemy contact! I forgot about their other troops here. Fucking A. So I guess instead of Gallipoli, the Allied plan was to attack the German, or to attack the Netherlands. Derp. Russian unit destroyed there. All right. So, in that case, we're going to reinforce our Ottoman fleet. Back up to full strength. Whenever we get that destroyer, that would be nice. Go out and play. I'm just trying to get the damn sub out of here. Let me leave the Aegean. Alright, so there's an enemy pre-dreadnought over this way, which I would love to sink. But there's no way in hell I'm going to sink it because it ran away. And is shielded by this. And even if I move in to attack it, it will... I mean, I could do this, but I'd be moving through zones of control. I'd be using 6 action points. I don't know how much attacking takes out of an action point, but I don't think that's a great idea. Because I'd actually have to move through multiple zones of control. There's no way I could get back. So we're going to pull the fleet back to safety. Meanwhile, Germany is going to purchase troops because that's what they need. More than anything else, they need troops. So we'll buy 2 cores. Can't afford a third. The Austro-Hungarians, meanwhile, will purchase a corps as well. Infantry warfare needs to be better for the Austrians. The problem is on the Western Front, they're going to get murdered going up against the British and French, who's already in a good place there. Meanwhile, we'll increase research on infantry weapons. Should also, I don't have sufficient funds to research artillery more. Ugh. Yuck. All right, let's move the ships that we have actually repaired out of port. Move the ones that need to be repaired into port. Is there anything in port that I can finish repairing? For the amount of money we have? Sure, we can finish that light cruiser. Okay. Alright, so we've moved a bunch of troops back to the Western Front. Hopefully it's enough to stem the Allied tide. I'm assuming the Dutch are going to bear the brunt of Allied counterattacks this turn. Maybe driving north toward Rotterdam. We'll see. I really need to try and... What I need is to counterattack to drive the enemy back so that we can get back even with Antwerp, because we can shorten our front considerably. Rather than needing 5 or 4 units here along the front line, we could shorten it to a 3-unit front. I'm also hoping that they use the bulk of their ammunition up in those attacks that broke the line from an artillery perspective, and so they can't just swoop down on us next turn. Also, it looks like some of the French units have started changing their uniforms. I don't know what that represents. Oh, I guess that's the infantry weapon level 1 soldiers, right? Be great if we could destroy another enemy unit down here. I just don't want to risk weakening my front to the point where they could break through. I'm not going to advance into that. Well, I can't advance into the salient anyway, but that's another French corps destroyed. So, I mean, again, I gotta think we're wearing the French army down. Maybe not. I mean, they've got 62 units between the British and French. Another 23 for the Italians. The Russians are at 37. I could really use the Russian Revolution right now. Alright, let's drive on Minsk. Let's try and end this war. Oops, undo, you already attacked. Point to the north. Fucking A, this terrain is not working to our favor. Okay. Move those guys onto rail lines. These guys onto rail lines. There's no reason to advance through the marshes, so we're going to try and avoid the marshes where we can. Let's use some artillery. Actually, what I should have done, let's do aerial recon over these Russian troops. Then let's use the artillery. We're going to drive on Kiev as well now. 2-2, 1-1, 2-2. Okay, pull these guys back to the railway. Koval. Grab these guys around the enemies to surround them. Nice. All right, so those German troops finished off the Russians at Rovnov. And now we can drive toward Kiev. So the Russian front may have to be somewhat left to the Austrians, which is a little bit terrifying. Oh, shit. I left Riga, which is a national morale center, undefended. Do I have anyone that can rail back there? These Austro-Hungarians can't rail that way, because apparently there's no railway over there. The question is, if I weaken these troops here, do the dastardly Greeks or whoever decide to go to war? I don't know. Meanwhile, I also completely forgot that the British landed troops in our rear. Haifa isn't a port, though. Where are they going to draw their supplies from? I don't have any money left to operate any of those troops anywhere. I mean, so the British have a detachment at Haifa, but they don't have any supply that can come in through Haifa. So hopefully we should be able to easily isolate and destroy them. So I was able to place troops all around them. They do sit on our rail line, which is probably a concern, right? Because supply situation. Although we have another rail line through Jerusalem, so they don't actually cut the frontline troops off at all. Okay. Still, there could be uprisings in Saudi Arabia. We'll have to see. So we pulled our Ottoman fleet, or our Austrian fleet, back. I need to be able to pull my German troops off the front line so I can upgrade their infantry weapons. But I guess we're going to see what happens here on the Western Front. Yeah, I understand why they didn't include Africa for a World War I game. There definitely was a lot of fighting that did go on there, but yeah, from a gameplay design perspective, it does make some sense. So we're going to cut back on our convoys to the Austrians. Because I think the Germans need all the money right now. Meanwhile, diplomacy, what's the situation? The U.S. still doesn't give a fuck. Greece is 15% in favor of the Entente. I can't remember where that percentage was before, if that's up or down or whatever. Norway, 32% for the Axis. Romania is just sitting. We have incredible investments in them, and they're just sitting at 24%. Watch, the Romanians will declare war next turn. That'll really fuck things up. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens here as we move into late 1915. God damn it, all those troops are suffering attrition? Frickin' supply lines in Russia, eh? Loss of Vilnia reduces Russian morale. Is there no Russian revolution? Does that not happen? Russian army is weakened by mutinies and desertions. Literally every time I say something like that, shit happens. Oh, listen to it. It's glorious. Foreign minister reports success with Romania. Swings at 14% to the Central Powers. Nice. Can I shift money from the other allies over to the Germans? Interesting. The French reinforced that core rather than moving it toward... Maybe I'll sink an Italian pre-dreadnought battleship. I don't know. You'd think they'd want to fill these lines, these holes in the front line. Oh, there's some French colonial troops there. That Austro-Hungarian submarine is a freaking hero. Never before has a sub endured so much. It's the submarine in Das Boat. That's what it is. Oh, we're just going to sail on the surface? Nope, we're going to get depth charged. Oh, we're just going to cross through the channel? Nope, we're going to basically die on the bottom of the ocean. Hey, we made it to port. Nope, airstrike's going to blow you up in port. The Italian Navy has moved into the Adriatic with at least one dreadnought adjacent to our fleet in port. Now that's interesting. Should have had the Swiss join us, I guess. Can we still convince them to join us? Italian attacks toward Trento. 4 units have attacked that Austro-Hungarian unit in its trenches. That's a good point, Charcoal. I completely didn't... Somehow it escaped my mind yet again. Maybe the French will make the Swiss problem easier and just invade Switzerland. The only place that I would like to be less than the Russian front after 1942 is probably in a German U-boat. Man, all these generals are just setting up to get slaughtered at Minsk. They've got 3 headquarters units there and like 2 soldiers. Oh no! Venalist forces seize power in Salonika. Greece prepares for war! God damn it! Oh, no! Oh. Huge crowds attend the unveiling of the Iron Hindenburg statue in Berlin. Great. Sheikh Zidi Ahmed S. Sharif, leader of the Senussus in Syria, oh my god, remains loyal to us and longs for the days when he can drive the Italians from his lands. He is ready to rise, but asks for officers and to lead his men in weapons and equipment to arm them. Would you like to spend 50 MPPs? Until Italy conquered Libya in 1911, the region had belonged to the Ottoman Empire, and there was a religious group who retained links to the former rulers. When Italy entered the war in 1950, they rose up against them, and their rising received Ottoman support, often being delivered by German submarines. Proved a thorn in the side of the Italians and the British in North Africa, as their support for this rising will almost certainly divert greater enemy resources than those we will expend on it. It is recommended to say yes. If they're successful, we may even be able to raise a regular force in Cyrenia, and this could possibly give us sufficient strength to invade Egypt from the west. Sure. Revolt! Oh yay, I'm so glad I got those fighters. All right, and that's going to do it for this episode of Strategic Command World War One. That was a pretty interesting turn. The Allies went nuts and invaded the Netherlands, and the Russians have started the revolution. But this seems about as good a stopping point as any. We did conclude 2 turns that episode, but I'm going to go ahead and step out here. I'll catch you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.